How to drop your unhealthy moralizing habit. What is a moral? Morals have been defined as practices or beliefs concerning the distinction between right and wrong, good and bad. And for most people, morals determine the entire course of their lives. For so much of my life, I was governed by what I believed was right and wrong. And you can identify where you've got morals in place in your life. Bit of an outdated word, it's not used so much these days. But you can see where you've got morals very strongly rooted in your life, wherever you've got the words should or shouldn't. Wherever you're going around telling yourself, I should do this, I should lose weight, I should be better at school, I should be getting better marks, I shouldn't be such a nasty person, I should have more money in the bank, I should try harder, I should eat healthier, I shouldn't be so crap at meditating. All of these should or shouldn't statements give you a really strong clue into where you're moralizing. And the problem with this is that the more you do it, the more it begins to take over your life and fill you with negative emotions. So if you're doing this, which most people are doing this, mostly unaware, but if you're going around telling yourself internally, I should do this, I shouldn't do that, then you're going to be experiencing all of these negative emotions on a regular basis. And if you watch this video, I'm going to be sharing how you can stop doing this so you can start to feel free, just like this guy on the jet ski, motorboat, and live a life according to your authentic self rather than this superimposed societal self that we put on. So, what happens when we tell ourselves we should or we shouldn't do this or that? Essentially what happens is our ego is carving out this sense of self, carving out this sense of right and wrong, and it's breaking reality up into right and wrong, light and dark, good and bad. It's creating what's known as a duality, D-U-A-L-I-T-Y, duality. And whenever we create duality, what we're doing is we're separating ourselves from the rest of the whole, and this results in suffering. What kind of suffering exactly? Well, anytime you say that over there, okay, that behavior over there, that's wrong, or that's bad, what you're doing is you're making yourself either superior, so you're making yourself self-righteous, you're puffing yourself up and saying, I'm better than that, you're pointing at that and you're rejecting it. Or what you're doing is you're saying, I'm a victim of this bad behavior. For example, if you're saying the government shouldn't lie to me, what does that make you? It makes you a victim. The government shouldn't lie to me. You're automatically putting yourself in this position of being a victim, and therefore you're going to suffer because of that. Or if you're looking over here and you're saying, you know, the police over there, I saw some corruption going on today. And that shouldn't happen. That's wrong. Police shouldn't be corrupt. What are you doing there? Again, you're separating yourself from that behavior. And you're saying, what I've got over here is this knowledge of what's good, and that over there, that's bad. Immediately, you're putting yourself into a position of blaming and victimhood. You're always going to be looking over there and saying, I'm on the receiving end of that. And that causes suffering. So it's very, very sneaky, this habit. Think of all the other examples of where you use these should or shouldn't statements. My girlfriend should be thinner. My boyfriend should be more muscular. My parents should give me more money. There's all kinds of examples of where this plays out in your life. And it creates those feelings I just mentioned, and also two of the biggest ones, guilt and shame. Now these two guys here will wreak havoc not just in your emotional health, in your emotional life, but also your physical body. All negative emotions do have an impact on your physical body. But guilt and shame are two of the biggest ones I want to tackle here, because moral systems or moral authorities like churches or religious groups, the government, any social groups where there's an inbuilt unspoken sense, spoken or unspoken sense of right and wrong, acceptable and unacceptable behavior. All of this is going to create a sense of guilt and shame if you don't conform with the standards that are set up there. And this, again, creates a very deep, very sneaky, seething impact on your day-to-day experience. And some people just go through their entire life getting governed by this. So if you're in this situation, how can you actually break out of it? How can you break out and realize the fact, this very bitter pill to swallow, which hopefully you're ready to hear this. How can you break out of this whole sense of morality and realize that there is no wrong or right? That in fact your ego is the one that creates all of these perceptions. Nothing is better, nothing is worse. We actually live in an amoral universe. Amoral. Because once you can break out of that, you're not going to experience anywhere near as much guilt, shame, anxiety. Think about how much anxiety is created by trying to live up to moral standards that you create or other people tell you and you take on for yourself. Anxiety, fear, blame, resentment of other people. Think of how much of that you can let go of if you can break out of this moralistic way of thinking and being. You can actually get to a place where you make decisions based on your own intuition. And there was a great researcher back in the 1950s who actually categorized the different stages of morality. So you've got pre-conventional morality, where you're motivated to do the right thing by this very carrot and stick way of thinking. So you're trying to escape from punishment or pain and you're trying to gain reward. That's pre-conventional morality, and that's really like a small child. And then a step above that, still in pre-conventional morality, is just purely carrot-based, where you're not motivated so much by fear and pain anymore, and you're more motivated by getting reward. Then you've got conventional morality, which is a rung above that. And this is where you're motivated by conforming to a group and also obeying larger authorities. Again, like a religious group or your society's laws or the social standard of wherever you live. Then above that, above conventional morality, is post-conventional morality. And this is where you start to get levels of freedom that you never could have had when you're still stuck in these earlier moralizing, more primitive stages of morality. And so when you get to post-conventional morality, here you've got what's called principle-based morality. So the shift goes from, I'm not going to behave and be good for anything outside of me anymore. I'm going to do it for my own internal standards. And this is where you've got social contract theory, where everyone in our society, again, kind of comes into this world and makes the agreement that, hey, we're all in this together, so we're all just kind of do the right thing by each other so it's more pleasant for everyone. So that's a more enlightened stage of morality. But where you'll experience the most amount of freedom, and this is where you've truly let go of morality, is a stage known as transcendental morality, which is really beyond morality altogether. And this is where you have the realization that you aren't just singular you. You actually go beyond you and outside of yourself again, and you see the whole world as yourself. Everything. That person down the street, that person next to you, those people in your family, those people from other countries, that animal over there, that tree, that plant, the sky, the ground, everything. Everything in the universe you see as a part of yourself, and therefore you're motivated to protect and do right by everything. And it's completely beyond the ideas of right and wrong, but because of the limitations of language, I have to say you're motivated to do right by. You're just in flow with everything. So there's no more decision making, there's no more angst, there's no more fear, there's no more guilt or shame. It's just like you just freely live your life with no rules, obligations, or any of that stuff in place. And that is the greatest level of freedom. And this is actually what all the greatest spiritual teachers taught on. Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, they all taught about this transcendental morality which went beyond the letter of the law. Again, if you go back to the ancient origins of the Judeo-Christian religion, where you've got Abraham and then Moses writing down all these commandments and laws. This, again, just like modern day morality that we have today, was to give people a guide and show them how to live in harmony together. But it was only going to be successful up to a point. When we're moving into an age now where we have to let go of that and realize that to experience true freedom and harmony with each other, we have to let go of morals and transcend that. Realize that we live in an amoral universe, there's no right or wrong, and start to come from the place of intuition and heart and let that guide us throughout our life. Now you might think, well, what's going to stop people from killing each other? What's going to stop me from just going down the road and shooting someone in the head, committing rape? These are very valid questions. But here's the thing. Again, this is not for you if you're at a stage where you're not conscious. This is for you if you're at a stage where you're starting to wake up like the rest of the world is, and you're starting to realize that these rules and limitations that humanity used to live by are no longer serving their purpose, and they're actually becoming a hindrance. So I hope you got something out of that. Please give this video a like and share. Start to look at all your should and shouldn't statements and question them. Actually see if you can flip them around. So if you're saying to yourself, I should eat more healthy, flip that around and say, I shouldn't eat more healthy because that right now is the reality. Accept reality as it is, and then you'll be free to change it from a place that doesn't come from obligation, guilt, shame, fear, or anxiety. You'll be motivated by more of your intrinsic desires that are more in alignment, that are more in flow with the universe, with the whole, and you'll start to make the best decisions of your life. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.